What's happening, my Jack family? Coach Scott here, JackedAfter40.com. In today's video, we're going to be diving into the latest research on training frequency, taking a look at how long muscle protein synthesis stays elevated after a workout, how long it takes for your muscles to recover after that workout, how it compares to real-world training experiences, and how you can apply all of this to your workout program design. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate it. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that alert button so you're notified each time I upload a video. More than anything, I'd love to hear from you down in the comment section below. James Krieger has been doing an incredible job of continuously updating his training frequency Bible over on his Weightology website, which is basically a meta-analysis of all the research out there on training frequency. And when new research comes out, he adds it to that meta-analysis so we have the most up-to-date data to help guide us in our decision-making process when it comes to designing our workout plans and how often we're training each muscle group. I'm going to include a link to that meta-analysis down below. I highly recommend you check it out. And there has been some new research when it comes to training frequency that he has added to these meta-analysis. And what this meta-analysis reveals is that when you follow a moderate volume training plan, myofibrillar MPS stays elevated for 48 to 72 hours after your workout. That's whether you're an untrained individual or an experienced lifter. Now that untrained lifter, they're going to experience a greater spike in that initial myofibrillar MPS immediately after the workout, but shortly afterwards it starts to even out between those two groups and stays elevated for that 48 to 72 hours. And we are talking about myofibrillar MPS. That is the muscle protein synthesis that is responsible for the muscle building process. There's mixed MPS, which a lot of others have based their training frequencies on, which has shown that experienced lifters, mixed MPS only stays elevated for like 11 to 18 hours after a workout. So if you're following that guideline, you're going to want to spike it more often, but that's not, you're following a guideline that isn't, it's not based on what's going to cause like the real growth response. That is the myofibrillar muscle protein synthesis. When it comes to muscle damage and recovery, this meta-analysis reveals that it takes 4 days to recover from a moderate volume workout. So when it takes 4 days to recover from your workout and muscle protein synthesis, the myofibrillar MPS, remains elevated for up to 72 hours there, you would think that, man, training a muscle group once every 3 to 5 days would be a pretty good call. Or like training a muscle group once 1.5 times to 2 times per week is probably optimal in order to make sure that you're recovering between workouts and in order to keep that muscle protein synthesis, that muscle building process, elevated throughout the week. But when it comes to real world application, there are so many factors that can influence your recovery. There are some things you can do that can speed up your recovery. There's some things you can do that can hinder your recovery. If you're sleeping like crap and you're stressed, it can take you longer to recover from your workouts. But if you're sleeping like a champ, you are managing your stress really well, you're going out for walks and doing a lot of active recovery, doing some self-massage, you can recover a lot faster. Plus, just because myofibrillar MPS stays elevated for 48 to 72 hours doesn't mean that you can't spike it more often than that. And just because it may take 4 days to fully recover from a moderate volume workout doesn't mean that you can't train that muscle group sooner. And workout design has a huge impact on that. So if you're hitting it with moderate volume one workout and 2 days later you hit it again with just low volume, a nice light high rep set, that may actually speed up recovery. So in the real world, there's so many different factors that come in play when it comes to spiking that myofibrillar muscle protein synthesis and helping you recover or hindering your recovery from your workouts. And when you dive deeper into this meta-analysis, you'll see that when you follow a moderate volume training plan, it doesn't matter how often you're spiking MPS and it doesn't matter how long it takes your muscles to recover from a workout. When you're following a moderate volume training plan, whether your frequency is 1 time per week, twice per week, 3 times, 4 to 6 times per week, the research shows that your muscle gains are pretty much going to be the same no matter what your training frequency is. Now, there's a few studies that have shown that higher frequency is better. There's some studies that show that lower frequency is better, but in this meta-analysis, when you're comparing all the different research, all the different frequencies out there, basically moderate training volume frequency is negligible. And if you think about it, it makes sense. On one hand, you got people arguing that bodybuilders have been doing body part split routines for decades, and they are some of the biggest, most muscular guys on the planet. And then on the other hand, you got people saying that full body workouts are the best way to build muscle, and they're both right. I myself followed body part split workouts all the way up until my mid-30s, experienced incredible results from that style of training, those splits. And then in my mid-30s, I started experimenting with various different splits. And if you've been following my channel lately, you see this year I've followed full body workout routines, I've followed body part split routines, and I've followed various different hybrid approaches. I'll include some links down below in the description to 3 different videos where I share 3 different training splits with you, and they all produced similar results. They all have their place. And this brings me to what I believe is the most underrated and underappreciated aspect of training frequency, and that is the novelty factor of change. And that's something that Brad Schoenfeld actually brought up during one of his training frequency studies, where they found that a higher training frequency produced better muscle gains than a body part split routine. And he mentioned that one of the reasons that the participants may have experienced greater muscle gains from a higher frequency training is that they were used to doing body part split routines. It may not have been that the higher frequency was better, it just may have been the fact that they changed their training split that produced the better muscle gains. So I highly recommend that you incorporate a variety of training splits into your yearly training plan. And although training frequency may not have that much an impact on your muscle gains when you're following a moderate volume training plan, when you start to bump up your volume and follow a higher volume training plan, trying to cram 20 sets into a single workout when you're following a body part split routine is going to become very challenging. What you'll find is probably after that 12th set, you're really going to start to experience diminishing quality in each set that you perform. Whereas if you were to increase the training frequency, training each muscle group 2 times, 3 times per week, you're going to find that the quality of each set that you perform is going to be a lot better. So you get an overall better experience. You're going to each set, each rep that you perform, you're going to get more bang for your buck. So really, that's the benefit of training frequency, is that it helps you manipulate your training volume. So what you'll find is that the more you increase your training volume in a workout plan, the more beneficial the higher training frequencies are going to be. So although some people argue that training a muscle group 2 times per week is best, they're not looking at the big picture here. They're kind of looking at those first 2 factors that I discussed earlier, the spiking of muscle protein synthesis and how long it takes to recover after a workout. But based on this meta-analysis, we know that muscle gains are the same no matter how many times you train a muscle group per week when you're following a moderate volume training plan. It's when you start to get up in the higher training volumes that training frequency starts to make a bigger impact, where 2 times per week may be best in that higher training frequency. But when you start to bump it up higher, you're going to want to increase that training frequency to 3 times per week, maybe 4 or 5, even 6 times per week, depending on the amount of volume you are performing. So to just have a narrow perspective of so many times per week is the best, that's going to hold you down. If you want to open up yourself to the limitless possibilities that are available to us and experience your best growth possible, you're going to want to manipulate your training frequencies and manipulate your training volume. Manipulating training volume is what I believe the key to getting jacked after 40. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please hit that thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate it. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that alert button so you're notified each time I upload a video. More than anything, I would love to hear from you down in the comment section below. Share your thoughts, share your experiences with various training frequencies. And before you go, don't forget to download your free copy, Jacked After 40. Hope you have yourself an absolutely amazing day. I'll catch you in the next video.